What's up, tubers? Welcome to the channel. Welcome back. You're going to hear me say that again in a moment. Apologies. I've been having camera issues, battery issues, etc. I've tried to shoot this whole thing in just one camera, and the battery died towards the end. I didn't know I'd gotten to this point where it's all painted and ready to go. So, at the end, I'll finish off with this and how I make wood grain wheels. And from that point, it kind of leaves it where we are now, ready to glue. So I just wanted to apologize when you get to that point. You go, wait, huh? It stopped. So enjoy. What's up, tubers? Welcome to the channel. Those of you that have been following along on my How I Build Models series, welcome back. We're about to get into my favorite part, the tiny brush details. Brush or Sharpies or pencils or, the small stuff. In the interest of keeping with the low budget version, I'm going to try and do as much as possible with Sharpies. And I'll show you this one in a minute. And I'll probably break out a few of those just because I do want to kind of keep it looking clean. So, if you're doing this, you're going to want some various colors other than just silvers and blacks. These transparents work great for turn signals, amber turn signals, as well as stoplights. Oh, no, wrong one. Transparent. And then the other ones, like the yellow, those work great for if you have a plastic tube or something. Those work great for fuel lines, but that's an entirely different type of building altogether.
An entirely different kind of flying altogether.
It's an entirely different kind of flying.
Let's just start with this one. I'm not really sure how I'm going to go through this. I kind of have it laid out as the puzzle goes. I'll try to get as much of this done first before I even get into the brushes. So I've already done the interior tub with a Sharpie. Just a little bit of silver here and here and here around the center of the where the shifter's going to go and the door handles, and just a little bit, just a dot, just enough to make it look like something's there. Your eye can't really discern that it's a handle, but your mind knows that it is, so it makes up the difference, if that makes any sense. And for cleanup, this stuff, I'll usually keep some on a saturated tip. Just keep it handy in case, and you see it just wipes right off. So that one is done as far as I'm concerned. The dashboard, I'll probably do a little bit on that with the silver. Again, I want to see how far I get with the Sharpies before I really get into the small brushes. But I wanted to share this trick. This is a metal Sharpie. These Milwaukee Inkzall. They're designed for marking lines on metal that it'll stay on the metal better than the Sharpie does. And they have a tone that, they come out great for a piece of iron. And it's just a simple drawing straight lines, which is hard to do on the camera to let you guys see it. But I'll just cover the whole thing. On three sides. Don't worry about the top one so much, you can't really see it. And then I touched the chassis there and that a little bit. So with my saturated, just really lightly dab it, because it will eventually rub the paint itself off. But there you go, that's done. And then for highlight, I'll take it's not as sharp as I would like, but just a little strip where the bands are. Oops, and I went a little thick on that, which is fine. And now I can come back and cut to it, doing that backwards with a little backhand so you can kind of see. And there you go. There's a little bit of a difference. So I'm going to continue on and stop rambling about it. I've got a little music playing in the background, and you know, if I do see something I need to talk about and explain, I will do that. You know, like this. I'm looking at how hard is it gonna be to get in there. That's gonna take some brush work. It really is. Probably to make it easier on myself at this point, I could have, remember how we worked those underneath the axle? Could have got a solid coat on those and then worked them underneath. But I'll get the brush out and not flood, but I'll paint the pipes and the shocks. But with this, you can just add a little bit of, oops, wow, it's way too not sharp. My Sharpies are kind of dullies. But whatever, you get the idea there. And I can do this entire thing with the Sharpie. Your sway bars and torsion bars and whatnot. I'm not gonna get too worried about them because, you know, it's not all that visible. A lot of this stuff really isn't. And if you just pay attention to getting the ends or the, you know, the corners, the main parts that define an edge, if that makes any sense. A lot of that won't even be seen because it'll be underneath the engine, behind the back of the firewall. But just this little bit will add enough contrast and detail to make it kind of stand out a little bit. You know, a little bit more realism. Sometimes you just have to make the choice if you're gonna go for the full detail and get it all the way in there, or just say that's good enough, which in this case that's exactly what I'm going to do. I look at it and go, well, you know, once I get it all glued together, that's gonna look great, right? And then doing the same thing with the tip, just hitting little spots on the bottom of the car. That's that part of it's done. So we'll do the exhaust, which I'll do in two different silver and gray. So then I'll just sort of move on and see what else I can get with the Sharpie while I have it out. Not really much on that. I'm going to do a lot of that with the brush. And the trim on this, I'm kind of torn because it's the same process, but this will look so much better than this will. But you know, if you don't have one of those and all you have is a Sharpie, it's the same process. I'll take this and not actually do it, but just run along the lines of that little piece of molding. And same with this. This one is actually easier than it looks when you think about it. This whole piece is basically going to be chromed out. You're like, oh no, how do I cut that fine line? No, you just sort of paint it and flood it that way. It'll make more sense when I actually do it and you see it. I don't know if I have it in me to actually do the entire long video of... I've been having camera issues. As you can tell, I've only got one camera for this, and getting really frustrated. I like to have a... let's see what we're fine. At least have a towel or two nearby for something to... do the front one. So same with painting with a brush, I'll find my corner close to it, get a feel for what the flow of the tool is going to be, and then kind of work to it. Oop. I've got the base sitting on the table, so it makes it a little more sturdier. There you go. Chrome windshield surround. And then I'll repeat that process for all of that around here, and I'll show you real quick what I mean about this part is easy, because in the photographs of the model and the picture of the car, it shows that that carries over all the way to that edge, as well as all of this and under there. So you're basically just gonna I work it from the inside. And this is old school painter mentality, that I'm cutting in the edges first. You know, not worried about the final part, getting the bulk of it. Come up and wrap that edge. Where do you hold it is always the tricky part. This is the part of the building where it's difficult to not touch it. So get a good angle here. Come on. You know, if I was doing the roof, you know, I'd be a little bit more worried about this edge. And even so, generally, if I was gonna like put flocking on the roof, that's gonna get colored over anyway, so that's fine. This stuff is kind of I don't know how to say it. It seems kind of chunky to me. Doesn't come out quite as chromy as I would like. And there you go. That's done. I'll continue on with the other sides, and then the little bits here and there, like the handle. But as you can see, I've had too much coffee and I'm shaking at the moment, so that's probably all I'll do of that today. We'll continue on with the rest of the motor and break out some small brushes to do that guy. So I'll get my palettes, my little disposable disposable paint technique. Don't know how many I'm going to use. Might only use 2, but since I have them on the table and there's room, I'll put that many. It's not like these are hard to come by or anything. So do what did I say? I think I'll probably do like a gray there. And I don't want chrome. Yeah, we use this stuff, the exhaust can, and the flat metal for this. They're a little bit different. Any of you out there that build and have used this paint, Model Master's Jet Exhaust on 796, they stopped making their paints, and I really like that stuff. And this, the lacquer aluminum non-buff, you recommend a replacement for those, please? Anybody? Anyone? So get some toothpicks and pour up a little bit. This one's almost empty, but I only need a little bit. Yeah, that's kind of about it. And I'll wait before I open that one, just because it dries up, hardens pretty quick. Man, already. I forgot the important part. The most important part. My wash bath. Where are you gonna live? Put you right here. Sorry, I should have been prepared. Making a mess, losing stuff. Lost my keeper. But a lot of this is only going to be visible from this side. There's not any reason to fret over being too precise. Dang it. I am making a mess though. There we go. That was a much better bead. And then I make a big mess on the side. This is the tricky part, getting it under this axle. You know, we'll just do the drive shaft the same color, make it easier. Coverage issues and stuff it's the bottom of that barrel, so I had already thinned it to try to stretch it out. You can see it's not performing very well. It's a lot wetter and looser than I'd like it. For freezing. So I'm not worried about the edges there. You know, I mean, you can go through and wipe and touch up, but I will go over the whole thing later with the silver brush to kind of give it some more depth, some scratches or motion. Yeah, I'm not going to pour this into, because there's not that much there, and I'm only going to do the cans for the muffler. It's really thick. It's almost this kind of the end of the line for this stuff. It's a bummer because it's got a really good color to it. And it's a nice material to work with. It flows really well. Well, I'm having problems because you can see my hands are shaking a lot more than normal. I've had too much coffee. There you go. That is essentially it. Yeah, I'm kind of bummed that's the last of this stuff. I do have a couple other metals that are nice. This aluminum is really sweet. So that's essentially it. We can do what do we got for that? I mean, a chrome gas can, but yeah, why not? We use this aluminum. So with cutting in, you'd think you'd want to go to that edge. I don't know if I'm going to be able to describe this. Your instinct is to go all the way to the edge and wrap it down around it. In reality, you don't really have to. If you come close to it and just define a line, you're better off with it. See how it kind of wrapped down onto there? Whereas if I want somewhere to hold, if I hold it back, that went all the way down. So if I hold it back, it's going to be a little trickier on this lumpy surface, but that's fine. Whereas if you try to go down to make it closer, probably going to push it out that way, and it'll look different. It's just a little painter's trick. You wrap it or cut it to the end. Get in there. Bam. There you go. And with liquid control, we'll put a lot, figure out how far that will go, and that gives me an idea of how far I need to be concerned about it becoming a dry brush situation. In this case, I'm able to get that whole thing coated And come back and lay it off. Oh, come on, cooperate. There we go. Now, like I said, I'll come back later and do the striping over all of it. Yeah, different color, but whatever. Touching up. We'll give it an aluminum slip yoke. Oh yeah, that's right. I wanted to do the shocks. So try this one. Also had some extra bracing under the axle, so I don't know if that's the right color or not, but you know, that way you can kind of see it, pulls it out. There you go. We're gonna call that done. Well, we have a little bit of this aluminum out. I'm gonna hit some of the spots on the engine, like the yeah, I can't see them, so we'll do the exhaust. Sometimes I'll paint the transmission silver. It actually looks kind of good with that black and blue mixed together. Shows like maybe some wear, or you know. So I'm just gonna leave it. And again, you won't see a lot of it once it's inside all the model put together. Oop, dang it. Come on. This distributor does not want to stay attached. I really should have this on a clamp or something to hold while I'm painting it, but I'm stubborn. So we're just going to do these in aluminum as well. What else we got? No, we'll do aluminum intake. No, because that's going to be chrome. Chrome filter. Words. Oh, man, get my fingers off of that thing. It's good enough for now. Just because there's a little bit of that color left in the pot. Let me smear it around a little bit with my fingers while I hold it. Again, don't do what I do. I'm an idiot. Okay, well. Yeah, well, let's go to toothpick mode. Whoa, that's way more than I need. Metallic silver testers. So I'm gonna need to break out the, I don't know if that will be in the way of the camera or not. I have a magnifying lens here, so take a little bit of paint right on the end. I'm not extremely worried about the precise shape of the thing. It's again mostly just to add a little bit of depth to something, and your mind will fill in the blanks, as opposed to if it wasn't there, it's just a one solid plastic nub. Oops, I'm trying to get it on myself, not the model. I always get that backwards. Okay. And then once the dashboard thing goes in that, it'll be good. So I will add some silver to the center of the gray, or aluminum, and then later I'll come back with the transparent, cover that with a color. While I have the toothpick out, I'll continue and I'm mostly concerned about it being a uniform shape than actually getting it on where you see the bit on the model. I don't know if that makes any sense, but try to cut your line too far, it just kind of blends it all together. Don't know if you can see this or not, or if it's off camera, but good, done. Still got 2 parts of that. That's ready to get glued. I need to put some black on a few things, and some black wash on a few things. We're almost ready for assembly. What am I doing with this? Black on, yeah, that's right. Not much at all either. I'm gonna run out of toothpaste before I run out of holders. Oil filter. And we'll do the distributor black as well. I don't know if you can see it or not. It's wobbling around in there. It does not want to stay in place. So just trying to get through this, get it get it all put together, and it'll be fine. That's fine. So, you know, that's good. And while I have this out, you know, touch ups here and there. Add a little bit into the exhaust end. That's fine. There you go. The bottom side is more or less done. I keep saying I'll do the silver thing, so let's just go ahead and do that now. Brush clean-ish. Doesn't really matter what color. Only mix a few of them together and then dry it off a bit. And going with the motion of the car, I'll just kind of brush it over lightly. Some of the high spots that like you may or may have scratched or something when you're driving it. And then leaning into your grade school finger painting skills. Yeah, so yeah, just a little bit of dry brushing. Huh? Yeah, there you go. That's done. It's done. Ready for some other stuff to get glued to it. What do we have left? I have these two parts there, and there's some black wash to do. So I'm gonna try to get that stuff done and get this all glued together. So I'm gonna do that. We'll run a little black wash here, and there's just a little bit of cleanup to do on these. Some flash on the bumpers. I noticed quite a lot, really. So they're not gonna get black wash, so I'm just gonna peel them off of here. Come on. Cooperate. Just a little bit of flash around the end of the whole thing, and that will, your eye will see that. I mean, definitely that. Only takes a second to trim that edge off. And you can go back and touch that up with, you know, a little bit of silver, but I usually don't. Sometimes I'll hit it with a Sharpie, but it depends on what model you're building and how precise you want to get. And as I've said through this build, I'm doing the it's fine. You know, you don't want to get too worried about it, and it's not any fun. You're starting to stress out. But, you know, as I was chatting, that's done. It's clean. It's ready to go. Same with this front one. I'll run this real quick. Just go around the entire thing. And that little line that you're seeing up here, that little bit of discoloration or whatever, it's not really going to be visible. What will be visible is that big solid chunk that sticks up, that's, you know, that's proud and stands out. Your eye will see that, and it'll make it look less like a bumper and more like a piece of plastic. So it only takes a second. That whole little lip right there, ooh, that's a good way to slice your thumb right open. And again, your eye is going to tell you when it's done. Is there anything else on here that needed that? I don't know if those do or not. I think those are just kind of like that anyways. These little, and one of them is a turn signal and one of them is an exhaust. You need to figure out which one's which. Yeah, all the rest of it looks fine. So we'll go ahead and run a little bit of black wash on the stuff that is going to get it. Some of the stuff won't. No, yeah, well, all of it does. All of it, boy. Hey, this bugs me so much about these things. I want them to grumble, grumble, grumble. Always shake the stuff really, really well. Really well. Yeah. I'll have some daubers nearby. And it's very, very, very viscous, so it will splatter. Be careful of how you use it. Because I want it to dry, I'm gonna flood this thing, the grill. Oh yeah, actually I do see a ugly bit there. Okay. And I'm gonna come back and hit that, the little horsey ribbon with color later. But I wanted to get a nice coat going on that. And then a thin coat. Oh, well, you can't even see what I'm doing at all. I just realized that. I'm sorry. I've been flooding this part here. And I'll keep it off the horsey a little bit. Just because I'm going to come back and hit that with a little bit of color. But we'll let all that stuff flow in there. I'm going to hit this one just a tiny bit to give it some depth. Again, I'm going to come back on that one and give it just a little bit of color. Alternator, shifter, which also needs some work. Did not realize that. Oh no, that one has a button. Okay. These guys will get paint or that clear, red clear. But I want to put some on there again just for a little bit of depth. Around the edges of where the bolts are. I'm gonna do the whole thing. Stuff sealed and out of the way. Oops, no. I spoke too soon. goes quite that black, so I'm gonna roll the Q-tip over the top just a little bit, and then that larger piece, I want it to stay a little shiny, so I'll kind of polish it. You know, not too much, because this stuff will eventually discolor those parts. And that's good. We'll let that stuff set up and dry for a little bit. We'll move on to finishing the chrome. Hands are starting to get a little dirty. This is a dangerous part where you're working with these. I often forget. Important to keep your hands clean. I'm gonna see some people even work with gloves when they get to this point. See where I'm at. Not far, not much left to do. Little bits of colors on a couple things. Glue this stuff to that, and then put it together. And then there's, of course, the decals that I have a fellow modeler was going to mail me a set out of a newer one, and I will probably use those, but I'm going to try. I'm going to take these, and I would put them in the window and let the sun do it, but it's just been so cold and wet out. I don't want to have them anywhere near my windows. So let's take 5.
Many tic-tacs later.
Okay, I just had to regroup a little bit and think about where I'm at. There's just a little bit of color left to do with the turn signals. So, and this, and I'm gonna have to clamp this. Wanted to make a wood grain, the steering wheel. It's really simple. My black is, all these paints are kind of dried up now, but I don't need that much. Take just a little putting just a little dot blob here and there on the outer ring. Let that set for a little bit. We'll do something else, let that dry. We'll come back to it and I'll explain why we did that. We're going to cover it with something else to make it look like a wood grain. In the meantime, we'll add the little bits of color to the dash. I'm going to put some transparent yellow in there. See how it comes out. I think. Yeah. That looks great. So put just a dab in there. Now it looks like it has custom colored lenses, you know, because this is a Hertz car, Hertz rental. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Let that dry. And then what was the other one? I had to figure out which. I guess I could have done this in the brake, huh? I'm an idiot. Give me that. Which one was the turn signal and which one was the exhaust or whatever it was? $47. Okay, they're backup lights, so those will stay silver. Which the chrome is just so globby you can hardly even see. There you go. Those are the turn signals. Those are the backups, so those will stay silver. Put a little bit of orange on these guys. Again, this is my favorite part. It's like when the whole model starts to come together. Little bits get color on them, and it starts to really come alive. Isn't that cool? Okay, so that's it for that one. And we'll do. See, we have some red and some blue. Yeah, to do. We'll do the red. Now, I don't know if all 3 of these are supposed to be red, or if it's 2 outsides in the middle. But today, because I don't know, all 3 are going to get red. And I'm going to break out my handy dandy blind guy thing. Oh, I messed up. Come on, give me that. There. Just a tiny little dab. And this stuff is so cool. It gives it a jewel look, you know? The trick is to get just enough, little tiny little dip, and like get to the middle and let it flow to the ends. So you get the whole thing without the outside. And then once that dries, these are going to look amazing once they're on the car. And the other one that I wanted to do, and again, I don't know if this is correct or not. Not a Ford guy, but it's going to look cool. Color coordination, I do know that. So we're going to put just a tiny little bit on the, I think they're red and blue, those stripes, but today, oh, that bled way more than I wanted it to, because the other stuff was still a little bit wet. I'll try to clean it out to, again, define that line. That's enough. That's enough to, your eyes will see it and go, oh, that's the Mustang emblem. Kind of bugging me. There we go. That's better. And then yeah, that's not really what I was hoping for, but whatever, that'll work. That's enough, you know, it's enough to add a little bit of a difference. Kind of looking at what I got here, don't think there's much left now at this point. Nothing to paint on that. I'm not feeling it with the script. I'm just not feeling it. I'm shaking a little bit too much, and I'd rather just not do them than have a bad job standing out. So we'll move on to the last little bit of paint, and we'll be done here. Just gonna make a wooden steering wheel. This is the clear orange. What? And run it pretty thick. I want a nice thick coat. I want it to be very round and fluid. I don't want it to be all lumpy and ropey-dope. Carry it over to the backside. How cool is that? Huh? That's right. One more piece I wanted to... Same color, same gold, because it's a Hertz car. The middle horsey. Yeah, that's a good little thing. There you go. How cool is that? Okay, there you go. See, that was kind of an awkward ending, wasn't it? But we left off with me finishing these, how I make wooden wheels, and pretty much everything is all cut off the trees and ready to go and ready to glue together. So that's what's going to be in the next episode. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you next time.